People agree?
You know, he had some time out on bond during the case. I'd have to go back and do the math. He was not in custody from...
There was probably about 6 weeks that he was out on bond, certainly not 178, so...
Well, what am I supposed to do, just pick a number?
Well, I'm satisfied with the number inside the body of the report, so...
And Mr. Casey, you are not?
I have one for the math.
Mr. Rasnick, do you know how long you were in custody?
Excuse me?
Do you know how long you were in custody?
I was arrested on March 11th. I can't remember the days that I actually got out on bond.
Well, that was after the preliminary case.
Yes.
And then at my hearing with you, I remanded you on first-degree murder charges.
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. 279 days would be from March 11th to today's date. So I think that's where the 278 comes from.
Yes, we
Minus 6 weeks, 6 times 7 is 4.
it would be minus about 45 days, it's 234 days.
That sounds correct.
Say it again.
234.
I'll give credit for 234 days. And Mr. Casey, go ahead.
Your Honor, on behalf of the people, I believe David Mack will perhaps would like to address the court.
Go ahead.
Dave, come up around.
And for this record, tell us your name again.
My name is Christina Madrigal.
Okay.
Well, again, it's very hard to explain in a short amount of time who my father was. You know, this joyful time where you're supposed to be with family, what we think of is, you know, that our dad was taken for some money and some jewelry, a senseless act. Our holidays will never be the same. Very hard for me to say this. I somehow, though, I feel that this defendant has remorse, and I don't feel that way in other areas. So I feel like not only was my father's life lost, but there's some mourning for the other family, and that hurts too. 10 to 30 years is nothing compared to taking the life of my father. I hope it's closer to 30, but this person has another chance at life, and that's great. You know, my dad dedicated, I've said this before, 25, almost 26 years of service to the Detroit Fire Department. Taken too soon, obviously. I find the way that he went out so ironic. The apple of his eye, his biggest joy the year before he passed was my brother's son, Arlo, who turned 2 yesterday. Ironically enough, the car that was burned to hide the evidence, my dad had just bought. And he said, I got 3 rows of seats in this truck because I can't wait to take Arlo and his buddies around and take them to sports and football and all this. And, you know, it's things like that. It's those things that we're going to miss and that, you know, we'll never have again. I have some notes here, but it's really hard to do this. I understand that I don't know how I can address the defendant. wasn't the one who actually physically killed my dad. But they were present, they saw it, 911 was never called, and then they continued in the robbery. The safe was still taken, the jewelry was still taken, the money was still taken, and it was never reported. So that deserves a punishment. And it doesn't matter how long that punishment is for anybody. David and I will never be the same people. No one will. The DFD never will. The city of Detroit never will. The communities that my dad served, nothing will ever be the same. And what we can hope for is justice, and I think, we're getting there. I do think eventually I will be able to forgive in this instance. Not all three, but I think I have it in my heart to forgive. And I know that my dad would want to, for anything else, for my own peace. I'm not sure what else I want to say, but, I think that's it for now. I'm going to let my brother go. Thank you.
So I still can't wrap my head around.
What's your name?
Sorry, David Madrigal.
Go ahead.
I still can't wrap my head around the fact that we have these three defendants who, from what I was told, met to a T the definition of felony murder, which I was told was life without parole. And now we have two of them not doing that. I can't explain it. I don't have the background in the judicial system to explain it. I just don't know what somebody has to do to get life without parole. I'm not going to go into what I think about the justice system again. I just don't know. Who else do you have to kill? Do they have to have a different occupation? Do they have to live somewhere else? I don't know. We can move on. What's done is done. The deal's signed. It's over. Yesterday, we saw a prime example of somebody with an extensive criminal background, criminal history, that after all that and his lengthy pages of breaking the law was still able to be outside, walking around, doing what he pleased, and killing my father. It's just ridiculous, and that's not even a strong enough word to describe what this is. So to the case at hand, we have someone that, from what I hear, doesn't have that lengthy of a background in breaking the law. Somebody that struck himself a deal by being a snitch. Whatever it is, he now doesn't have to do life without parole for meeting the definition of felony murder, again, from what I heard. I'll say no more about that. The only positive I can find out of this whole entire thing is that by them being behind bars for whatever limited time it may be, these ghetto rats will not be reproducing. And that's the only peace of mind that I'm going to get.
Mr. Casey.
Our best people, there is a sentence agreement with Mr. Rasnick. He has some conditions to fulfill under that. He's still bound by that. There is the issue of restitution. We addressed yesterday a total amount of $14,517.30. That'd be joint and several with co-defendants, Mr. Soto and Ms. O'Neill ultimately. And that's that.
And Mr. Rasnick, anything that you wish to say?
Yes, I have a speech prepared to say. Now that I had a crime that led to Mr. Madrigal losing his life. Had I known that a life was going to be taken for a few dollars and some meaningless property, I would not have been involved in any part of it. If I had had the foresight, I would have done whatever I could have done to prevent any of it from happening. I pray that Mr. Madrigal can feel my grief as I feel the family's grief, and they can forgive me. I pray that the son and daughter of Mr. Madrigal, as the rest of the family, can only one day forgive me for my trespasses against their family and loved ones. If I could take the pain away from your family, I would gladly do so, but I can't. For that, I am truly sorry. Thank you.
And Mr. Rasnick, you have an obligation to testify in the upcoming trial of Miss O'Neill, is that correct?
Yes.
And you have to state, as part of the condition of this sentence, what you did in the house that, and the actions that claimed Mr. Firefighter Madrigal's life. Do you understand that?
Yes.
According to the sentence of the court in connection with the sentence agreement on the charge of second-degree murder, that you serve 120 months to 360 months with 234 days credit for time served. You must obey all court orders, pay $68 state cost, a crime victim assessment fee of $130, court cost of $1,300, and restitution 1/3 of $14,517.30. The restitution must be paid jointly and severally, so if anybody doesn't pay, the entire burden of restitution may fall to you. You can appeal this conviction in my sentence by application for leave to appeal, and a form will be furnished to you to indicate the manner in which you can take an appeal. However, Mr. Rasnick, your signature on that paper does not indicate that you have begun an appeal. Thank you.
Oh, there is one other matter that I would like to place on the record. There has been a continuing keep separate order in the Wayne County Jail as it relates to Mr. Rasnick and his co-defendant, Mr. Soto, who has made threats against my client. We are asking that there be a continued separation order with the MDOC.
Well, we can note it, and the record that you've made of that, but I don't have any authority over the MDOC where people are housed or placed.
Well, the prosecution certainly has the ability to send a notification to the MDOC, and I would ask the court to require that they do that, so there are no issues between Mr. Rasnick and Mr. Soto.
Mr. Casey?
We're going to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, John.
You want me to sign something?
It's not ready, Judge. I'll bring it down.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, absolutely, Judge.
I tried to